Hello everybody, Tom here from Tom's Backwoods, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make a pretty simple little cook kit. If you want to save money or you just like to make things yourself. We're going to use Fancy Feast cat food can, and this will be our stove. We're going to use, it doesn't have to be a baked beans necessarily, but a 22-ounce can of whatever you got. I've got baked beans, and this is a Tang powdered drink mix. You find these all in your grocery store. You know, you're gonna have to modify it a little bit, but this is a great little container and cook kit. It'll be fairly lightweight for what it is. It's going to run off of denatured alcohol or the yellow bottle heat. But anyway, let's get to it. First thing we'll do is clean out our makeshift pot, and we will cut our little pot here down as well. Anyway, we'll get to it. Alright, so here are some of the tools we're going to be using. I'm going to use a drill bit, but if you had a hole punch or something like that, you could use that on the cat food can. It's really thin material, so you can punch through it with a decent size hole punch, but I'm going to use a drill bit, and it's really important to get something inside of the cat food can that, you know, so it'll keep shape while you're drilling. Safety side can cutters to cut the side of the can, so the top. A Sharpie for doing our layout on our cat food can, and probably a pair of scissors to cut out our other container. Alright, so we got our cooking pot cleaned up. We got a lid, put a hole in the middle, and a vent hole up on the top there. Doesn't matter that it'll, you know, have the diameter of the hole, just whatever kind of cordage you got. Just made a little overhand knot there and melted it a little bit. It's that braided type cordage. Now we got our lid, and all that's done. Now for our separate container, not much to that. We'll just cut it right around this lip right here with our scissors, and probably take a little bit of sandpaper and smooth out the edges a little bit. Not much to that. The really cool thing about the cup is, or the lid I should say, is will hold 8 ounces of water, so it's your measuring device for 1 cup of water to boil in your pot. Go ahead and cut this out real quick. Alright, so we got our container cut off, and you just watch that little lip on there, make sure all that comes off, so our pot will fit right down inside of there. And the lid fits right over the top of it. All we have to do is make a Reflectix cozy, and this will be our insulated pot for rehydrating our meals. Now, using the freezer bag inside of one of these is a pretty good idea. If you're using anything greasy, or this thing gets pretty hard to clean out, like if you're cooking spaghetti or something like that. But just to set your bag in the pot cozy and letting it rehydrate, so pretty neat little item to have, especially if you're rehydrating more than one thing and you want to use your cook pot to drink out of, or something to that effect. Anyway, let's get on to the stove. Fancy Feast. It doesn't matter which you get, as long as you just get the can. These are like 98 cents. And so the first thing you need to do is clean them out. And I don't know if you guys can tell on here, but there's a lip around there that you're going to have to use a pencil or something to push that lip down. And when you're doing your layout, use your Sharpie, and then, you know, put a mark at 6 o'clock, 12 o'clock, that's 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, and then split that in half and do the same thing again and mark it out. And I've already got another one here just to make it the video a little bit faster, but I'll show you what I mean for this one here. Now I use this drill bit here to drill these out, but you got to be careful because this isn't very thick stuff, and if you don't go slow enough you'll end up ripping your holes, so be careful. But this is what I mean with your layout. Eventually you'll get this, and you just, you know, I started out just like I said, and then splitting that in half and that half and then that half, and you get your holes drilled right next to the top, and then your second series of holes right beneath that. This is exactly what you should look for. Pretty lightweight, pretty easy to do. So a hole punch will do it. This is a 15/64 drill bit. So just take your time, and if you got something in here, some sort of a backer to hold this, because it will bend on you if you're not careful, or just get a hole punch and then punch a holes in there. And if you got one of them really light duty hole punches, you might bend it and break it, because this is a little bit too thick for a light duty hole punch. But this is what you're looking for after you're done. So we've got our pot done, our stove done. I went ahead and made a windscreen. These are extremely important dealing with denatured alcohol type stoves. You have to have a windscreen to go around them. And all this is heavy duty aluminum foil that I folded over a couple of times to get however, you know, the height that I wanted, and just barely fits into the pot, so that's what I wanted right there. So it fits into the pot. One screen will go around that, and you could punch some holes in the bottom, which isn't a bad idea. All of my other windscreens have holes in the bottom, just for a little bit of air to come in, just a little bit, you know. This goes all the way around, where you can break it up, you know, depending on the situation. But I'm going to go ahead and make a pot cozy out of some reflectors I got here. There's tons of videos on how to make a pot cozy. You know, it's just measuring it out and cutting it out with your scissors and using some aluminum foil type tape. And I use some of this tape onto the windscreen here to reinforce the sides and in the middle there. So it should work pretty good. So I'm going to make a pot cozy real quick, and like I said, there's lots of good videos on that. If you guys want me to go through a detailed video on that for you, but I can. I'm just going to make one, and I'll do a different video on that if you guys seem to want one. So anyway, we're going to make a cozy for our little cup here. So we've got our pot cozy done. Pretty easy. And I made pot gripper. So grab your pot. Or you could do something like that. But anyway, let's go ahead and burn this thing and see how it does. Alrighty, let's give it a boil test here. Got an ounce of denatured alcohol. And this type of stove needs to heat up, so you if you put your pot on too soon, it will go out. So you want to let the alcohol heat up before you put your pot on. I've got 2 cups of water in our pot. Put the lid on it here. I don't know if I said this earlier, but these types of stoves are better for wider bottom pots. So this pot isn't really optimum for this type of stove, but it should work just fine. Go ahead and we'll start our stopwatch here. Hopefully you guys can see that. It's coming across pretty good. There we go. At about 11-minute mark almost. Alright, so not a bad burn time for a pot. Not the fastest in the world, of course. For not very much money, it's well worth it. Alright. Just a little over 13 minutes and we're out. Pretty neat. Well, there we go, guys. For pretty cheap, you can throw yourself together a pretty easy cook kit. You know, you can throw a little spork in there, one of them Lexan sporks, just cut it down a little bit. And you got a decent little cook pot with a lid and a container. Like I said, I'd put my baggie of food, freezer bag full of food, but just put it in there and then fill it up, you know, and then just put the lid back on it. Let it rehydrate. But a windscreen, a little pot grabber, put our stove down in there, our lid, a measuring cup, a little compact unit here. Let's get a weight on it. Alright, we're set to ounces here. It looks like we're at 5.96 ounces. So, pretty lightweight little cook kit. The windscreen is a must. Like I said, this pot's kind of small for a stove that size, but it'll still work and get you out there and get you fed when you're hungry. All right, well, thanks for joining me on this video, and if you get the opportunity, go ahead and put one of these things together. They're just they're really inexpensive, and you don't have to spend a lot of money on titanium or any of the other fancy stoves. And you know, if it wears out, if your cook pot wears out, it's you know, it's only a couple of bucks for another one. So till the next one, you guys take care out there. We'll see you on down the trail. Oh, and for all you guys that stayed till the end and watched the whole video, why don't you leave me a comment in the comment section and say you'd like to have this thing, and I'll do a drawing in a little bit and give this one away. Alright, you guys take care.